Stop wondering. Your specific person is manifesting you, and it's only the lack of this assumption and belief as to why you're not getting the results that you want right now, because I will tell you, your specific person is waiting on you and not the other way around. But this is a technique that you can use in this moment to change everything, because I've always noticed there's small shifts that we do within our mind that create massive results, and that is very simply stop focusing on your external reality and focus on things that are within your control. I know that sounds like such a simple formula, but it is going to change the way in which you view manifestation. So what do I mean by focus on the things that you can control? So remember, your reality very simply is reflecting who you are being at any given moment. That's the law of assumption. You don't have to do anything but assume as if you already have what you want. And so what you can control is your thoughts, your beliefs, your actions, and your imagination, right? And think of how often Neville or Joseph or Abdullah talk about your imagination. It is the most powerful thing in manifestation. But what do we normally do in the opposite? And why does this actually cause a lack of proof outside of us? So normally we focus on our external reality. And the way I always like to think of it, and you should always remind yourself of this anytime you're manifesting, is remember, your reality is a mirror. It is reflecting who you are being. You never actually change your external reality. You always change yourself. And so in the same way, you never go into a mirror in order to change the reflection. You change yourself. You change your shirt, right? You change who you are, and then the mirror automatically reflects that. But what do we normally do in our manifestation? We try to change our specific person's mind. We try to make them text us. We try to make them like us, right? But that's not doing anything. It's only creating frustration. It's making us feel like there are problems. But keep in mind, there are no problems ever within your manifestation. It's just the thought that there is a problem and the thought that we actually have to overcome it as to why we perceive or feel there to be a problem at all. You don't have to overcome distance. You don't have to make your specific person like you. As I mentioned at the beginning, they're already manifesting you. They already want to be with you, because honestly, why would they not? And when you are attempting as hard as possible to change your reality or to overcome problems, which again, your subconscious mind does not see, you are basically like a hamster on a wheel running around in a circle, going around and around and around. Because what are we doing by focusing on problems? We're focusing on problems and then giving them attention and energy, which then makes it feel like it is a problem because assumptions are the only thing that's being created. And so you're assuming this to be a problem because you're putting all of your attention and energy towards it, which then manifests it as a problem, which gives you something else to put more of your attention and energy towards, and you end up in a cycle forever. That's why sometimes it can feel like we put in all this effort and all this action and all this work, but we do not get what we want, because manifestation and the law is not about work. That's why it's actually so much easier than we are making it. So don't try to change your reality. Be the individual that has it. Focus on what you can control, because your specific person doesn't like you for what you do. They like you for who you are. Just being you without doing anything extra, is actually who they're obsessed with. You don't need to overcome boundaries. You don't need to overcome problems, because again, they're all just a figment of our imagination. As you are the person that's in the state, as you control your imagination, as you control your state and your thoughts and your beliefs and your actions, that's literally since the beginning of Neville Goddard preaching of this and the metaphors from the Bible and Joseph Murphy, that's always been the only thing that you ever need to do. And if you actually think of other things in your reality that you manifested, because remember, everything is a manifestation. If you look at other things, you've done it this way, right? You never have ever achieved something by focusing on the negative. And this is where, again, it kind of seems strange when we look into our external reality. Because, again, we think of it as us controlling it. Because the law of assumption would state as like, what's the point of manifestation, right? You'd say to live the life or the dream life that we want. And so, yes, we are having an effect on our reality. You absolutely change it in the same way that if I were to change my shirt and I walk in front of a mirror, it will show me something different. But never, ever are you going into the mirror. So everything is thus technically controlled secondarily. Everything is of you, and your consciousness is what it is all reflecting. So think about that for a moment and just ask yourself, so what has your imagination been lately? What have your actions been lately, right? What have your thoughts been lately? And the wild thing is, yes, our mind wants to focus on the negative. It wants to focus on how to overcome these problems because our mind wants to create problems to kind of stop ourselves from actually changing. And it's not that it's anything against your mind. Your mind is not working against you. It's just trying to keep you comfortable. And this act is going to be very powerful and work for you when you are the person that you want to be. Then it's going to be very difficult to not see your reality as your specific person is manifesting you. It's going to be hard to see them as someone who isn't trying to be with you, or isn't trying to call you, isn't trying to text you, right? It's all of these amazing positive things, and it will keep you in that state. And a really good metaphor, because again, we just have to notice this or understand it in order to act it out. But a really good metaphor is, when's the last time, if you've ever planted anything, but you can always imagine you plant something. How do you help it grow? Right? Let's say you plant an apple seed or a rose bush seed or something of that nature, a tulip seed, a lily seed, whatever. You plant a seed of some kind. How do you actually help that thing grow? Do you try to tug and pull on the leaves, right? And you would say, well, no, but that seemingly is the most direct way to make it grow. But in essence, we know that's not how you actually make a tree or a plant or anything grow. By tugging on it, you actually risk uprooting it. And so we want to almost think of that same metaphor when it comes to our specific person and our manifestation. The more you're tugging and pulling, the more it feels like you are uprooting it. Now, technically, you can't uproot your manifestation. That's like saying you could do something that would make God or your higher self incapable of producing something, which we know is not the case at all, right? There's nothing you could do to stop God from literally being able to give you, which it's already done. It's not even going to give you, it's already happened. There's nothing you could do to stop that. So yes, it is this essence. I want you to think of it as by pulling on the leaves, by tugging at the branch, you are going to uproot it, but you can't uproot it in your manifestation. Truly, you can only have the perception that you are uprooting it. And a really good way to show how the change of our attention creates a change in our reality is this specific success story. So I'll kind of read it, or I'll kind of summarize it. So out of nowhere, and this person talks about in their 3D, kind of focusing on it and worrying about it, and out of nowhere, this specific person texts them and reaches out to them. So this person being in no contact, you would say, that's crazy, that's wild, yes. And that's exactly what the law of assumption is. It isn't even actually that crazy if you start to think about it. It makes a lot of sense because you can see their shift of their focus on their 3D onto the fact of the wish fulfilled, because this is what we talked about. Basically, this same idea. You're not forcing your reality. You are under or only capable and in the need of focusing on what you can control, which is your imagination, right? Your imagination and your assumption is what creates. And so they talk about working on this change of their 3D, and then their specific person reaches out unexpectedly. And so that's the power. When you change what you're focusing on, think of the mirror. Does the mirror kind of take a long time to reflect something else that you've put in front of it? And the answer is no, right? If you put something different in front of a mirror, it immediately shows it. And so this is what happened for this individual. They put something different in front of the mirror, it immediately reflects something different. They don't have to go into the mirror. They don't have to change it. They don't have to fight it, right? They don't have to put in work. They don't have to put in effort. And I know our logical minds really want to overcomplicate it. No, we don't have to. And it's actually, you don't understand how little work you need to put in order to create a massive benefit. It's all the work and the effort and the stress that we feel is actually just only ever a figment of our imagination. So keep that in mind. And then just like the success that I've shown, you're going to have your specific person reach out unexpectedly, no matter what the circumstances, because you're a mirror. Does not care about circumstances. It doesn't care what it should and should not reflect. It just reflects exactly what's put in front of it. So keep that in mind, and you're going to be able to manifest exactly what you want, whether that's texts, calls, dates, proposals, obsession, desire, anything that you want, just by, again, focusing on your imagination. Everything you can control. God, your higher self, would not give you, doesn't want to stress you out and doesn't want to put you under anything. Well, you're technically indirectly controlling everything, but it doesn't want to stress you out and give you more than you can handle, right? So in essence, that's a blessing and amazing that you only have to focus on your state, because by focusing on your state, you're going to see a difference in literally everything around you. Try it out for literally one day and you will absolutely feel a difference. So as with all this being said, I'm glad to be back. I know it's been a couple weeks since I posted a video because I was having some other ideas that I wanted to include on the channel, but I thought I would just include this because it was just a really fun idea I think will hopefully help you out. So I'm happy to kind of get back into the groove of it. If you did have any questions, make sure to comment them down below, and then comment what you're going to create in your reality today by acting this out. So now it's a free-for-all of whatever you want. So what are you going to create by not changing your reality, but being the individual that has it? Not forcing it, but focusing on your imagination. What are you creating with your specific person? Type that down below as well. Any questions, any thoughts, anything like that? If you did want to reach out to me personally, make sure to head over to kyleaugustcoaching.com. That's where you can reach me. And as well, I'm glad to be back. Hopefully, again, keep me updated too. What have been awesome, amazing things that have happened with you and your specific person in the meantime, as well as this out. Keep me updated. Let me know what's going on with your specific person. As always, though, thank you so much for stopping by today. Huge shout out to my subscribers. Thank you so much for becoming a member, and I can't wait to see you in my next video.